Hello everybody, Stuart from Riku here. Today I want to talk about some open source large language models and also some of the latest developments that have happened that start to bring these models up to a standard which can surpass some commercial models and also have a larger token limit. It's super exciting times because we had a token limit of 2048 for most large language models over the past couple of years. And now with the space exploding and the ability to run these on consumer GPUs, it gets super, super exciting. And we've been sort of investing in hardware and being able to learn and run these things at Riku. And today we're going to share how you can play with some of these models, either through Riku or through your own hardware. So this is a video where we're just going to go over some of the latest technology, and then we're going to demonstrate how you can use some of that in Riku if you want to do so. So why might you want to use one of these open source models compared to, say, OpenAI or AI21 or Claude from Anthropic or anything else commercially? Well, one of the things that you might find, and you may have found if you have been using the OpenAI API, is that it can be slow. If I come to the OpenAI forum itself, and if I put slow, there are numerous messages and threads saying that it's slow, and this is often what we get as well. Support from Riku, people telling us that the OpenAI API is slow. So by running a open source model, you're running it on hardware that nobody else can access, and that generally means that you can run it at a better speed. And really, up until now, it's been very difficult to run an open source model on your own hardware. You need a very high GPU, almost a commercial GPU compared to a consumer one, but things are changing, which is great. So there are a ton of models now, and there is this person on Hugging Face called The Bloke, and he is doing a stellar job of taking the best models and putting them in formats that anyone else can try. So you can see he has put over 360 models onto Hugging Face. And we're going to look at this Wizard LM 13 billion V1 uncensored super hot 8K GPT-Q model. Now, a lot of that probably sounds like jargon to you. You don't really need to understand too much of it, but the main thing is the 8K, which means that this has up to an 8K token limit, which was completely unheard of for large language models until very, very recently. The way that you can do this is by different methods. You'll see here we have Kaioken, I guess that's how we say it, has created this super hot. And he goes over how he does this here. And basically, with this super hot method, it means that you can get a higher token limit than the original model intended. And you can apply this method to other models to increase the token limit on it. So that is super cool. And if you want to read more on any of those links, I will provide them in the description of the video below. So by using the super hot method with existing models, which is what the bloke has been doing by sort of fusing them all together and putting them in a nice little package that anyone can run through a text generation web UI, which is pretty similar to the image generation web UI, which is extremely popular, Automatic 1111. There is one for text generation now, and it allows you to add models and see how they interact. So that is one of the main breakthroughs. The second one is ExLlama. And ExLlama is super cool because it it's basically the holy grail of performance improvements. What it does is it, one, takes up less VRAM on your GPU card. So if you had a model before and you had, say, a 24 gigabyte VRAM card, which is what like a 3090 or a 4090 has, then having some of the larger models would take up like 23.5 gigabytes of VRAM out of the maximum 24. So the closer you get to maxing out your VRAM, the more you are going to get errors and the less it's going to perform when you up the token limits. So by using a method like ExLlama, you are optimizing this, and it means that if it was taking 23.5 before, maybe now it's only taking up 16, 17. So you're crazily saving space and optimizing on the VRAM usage of your GPU. And this can also, as well as saving space, perform better and more efficiently. So you can get a higher token per second output than you could before. So this is super, super cool. And by using the ExLlama method and the Superhot method together on existing open source models, you get something super, super fun. And this is what we've been experimenting with behind the scenes at Riku, and it's something that we are putting together to improve our chat app experience. For those who don't want to use OpenAI or have problems with the API being slow or it's not performing as you like because it's got sensors on it, etc., etc., there is another way, and we're going to show you how you can play with these models within Riku now. So one thing to mention with all of this, really with our goal with Riku, it's about trying to make this technology accessible and make it so anyone can create a chat app or a prompt app and share it wherever they need to, and make the best use of the technology. And with this goal in mind, we've been investing quite heavily in hardware to be able to run image models and text models and whatever might be coming down the road to quite a high level. So with our own hardware, we've been able to add some of these open source models, and we are going to be adding them to Riku for you to play with. We're still undecided on exactly how this is going to look in the long term, because we could just do like a buffet where we cycle in and out specific models and take requests and have them on sort of a week at a time so people can play with them. Or alternatively, we can have it so you'd be able to switch out different models and try out the best of the open source as they come available. We're still a bit undecided on that, but the main issue at the moment with this is if you have a model loaded up and you want to switch to another model, there is a fair few seconds that it takes to do that switch. So it's not seamless if you have sort of 50, 100 people trying to hit generate at the same time, all using different models, and you're going to have, the model constantly switching. It's going to be a bad experience for everyone. So that's something that we're looking to optimize and fix in the future. But let's show you some of the improvements that we made to the chat app so you can try out some of these models right now. Logging into Riku, I am greeted by the V3 dashboard. We are going to have a full V3 walkthrough very soon, so keep an eye for that. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing the full walkthrough of the product. But we are taken to the Chat App Studio overview, and these are all chat apps that I have created. If I want to use any of these, then I can simply click on this button and hit Open App in a new tab, and it will load this up for me. Those with the eagle eyes will see that we've added this Wizard LM 13 billion uncensored model for you to try now. And we also have GPT-4, Claude, we have 3.5, and the OpenAI models use your own OpenAI keys, so you do need to have approval for GPT-4. But today I'm interested in talking about this wizard LM. So you'll see here, I've created this life coach model and I can talk to it. And this is running on our own hardware. So it's fairly snappy for something that we have running on a 4090, which is pretty cool. So I could say, I need help with my career. I feel like I am down a lost path. And we can talk to Lisa, who is a life coach, and she'll be able to give us answers. And you'll notice it's quite snappy for a 13 billion parameter model. And the reason why we've loaded up this model right now is because we wanted to test out ExLlama, which is the new optimization method, and we wanted to see how the performance is for a model of this size and see what the token limit is before we sort of get to a stretch breaking point. With what we've read online with regards to this method and the hardware that we have, we expect it to be able to perform up to about 6,200 tokens. So that is a fairly large context window for you to experiment, test, and play with different chat apps. So let's go in and create one from scratch. So we have Lisa, the life coach here. We probably don't want to create another life coach. Let's create something completely different. So we can hit create a new chat app here, and we come in to the chat app builder. The thing that we want to change is we want to choose the technology. We have Wizard LM 13B Uncensored here. And just a note on this, with us setting all of this up, we've also sort of untangled the system from when we initially built it to be able to add more LLMs into the chat app studio. So what this means is we want to add the AI21 models. We want to add other models for you to be able to create chat experiences, because OpenAI and Claude are quite heavily safety filtered, and we believe in people being responsible and being able to use the technology for whatever they want to use it for, as long as it's not illegal, obviously. So with this, we have an uncensored model. And what the uncensored model really means is that it's been trained on responses from OpenAI models, as far as I'm aware, but then it's been further trained to not deny instructions. So it's been trained explicitly to follow any instruction that could have been denied previously with a safety filter. So by that, you can get it to create content that OpenAI or Anthropic may deem unsafe, but these guardrails can be frustrating at times. So by playing around and seeing what an uncensored model can do, you can get a lot of fun outputs. So let's modify some things. So we have the greeting message. We can modify this if we want, but let's just keep this as it is for now. We can change the placeholder text. So we could say, ask me about investing. One of the things that OpenAI and some other models have in their terms is for no financial advice. So by using an uncensored model like this, we can create something like this. And, we're just creating this to prove a point. So we could say, you are Stephen Taylor, an independent financial advisor based in Boston, MA. You work with clients from the area who would like to get the most out of their retirement and generally are looking for long-term investment advice. You help them by being honest and providing them with multiple options for them to grow their money and investments. You are courteous, kind, and love to recommend your favorite stock, Palantir, at all opportunities. So just felt a bit of a funny thing on the end there because I want to see how it actually performs here. So now we have created this. We can then come in and we could say financial advisor Stephen Taylor, and we could say this is a chat agent to give financial. And we could say create the chat application. And now this has been created. We can see it in our dashboard. We've got a little teddy bear placeholder here. So let's fix that up super quick by just getting a fictional image of a Stephen Taylor. So how do we do that? We come in here and say Stephen Taylor is a financial advisor from Boston, MA. He is smiling and has a big heart. And we can just get a couple of these generated just so we can give our chat agent a bit of a personality. It's always good, I feel, when you can see a face to your financial advisor. And this will also give us the opportunity to see the other settings that we have when creating a chat app like this. So we can decide to make the chat app public if we want. We can set a password on it. We can get the embeddable iframe code if we want by clicking any of these, and it's going to load those up. What I want is I want to keep this private just for me. I can come in, I can see, okay, this is Stephen. Stephen looks like a nice chap, somebody I trust with my money, and I will just get a nice image that we can put in, and then I will just upload a picture of Stephen. Perfect. So now we can talk with this chat app that we've created, which is completely uncensored. We can do the financial advice, which I believe is against OpenAI's terms, but because we are using an open source model, we can get around these things and we can talk with Stephen. So we go, hey, Stephen, I need some help with my investments. And we can see what this conversation is going to entail. So it's asking me, what is my strategy for investment? I'm 35 now and looking to retire by 50. I'm quite a risk taker and looking for a strategy to get me big returns. Aren't we all? And I will put a little emoji in here. I'm really wanting it to talk about Palantir because that would be funny. Understood. If that's the case, I can suggest diversifying your portfolio into high growth equities such as technology companies, which may include Palantir Technologies that have been performing well recently. Additionally, you can explore alternative assets like real estate, commodities, and private equity. Remember to always balance your investments across different sectors to minimize risks associated with market fluctuation. Okay, that sounds great. What are your thoughts on dollar cost averaging versus lump sum investing? I've just got an inheritance I want to put to work. So You can see here, we can have the talk. We can talk with Stephen Taylor. We're using an open source model, so it's completely uncensored. We can do what we want to do with it, and it's pretty cool, right? And this is a 13 billion parameter model. We want to give you the opportunity to play with a 30 billion one as well. But you'll see here, we're getting good answers, we're getting a good conversation, and the speed is very, very fast, which I'm really impressed with. And this conversation that we're having with Stephen, because of the advances in the open source model technologies and ExLlama on top of that, and super hot with the extended token limit, we're getting faster, we're getting speedy responses, and we're getting up to 6,200 tokens of memory. So this is massive. If we put that into characters, we've got 6,200 times that by 2 is 12,400, and then times that by 2 again, you're getting 24,800 characters of conversation that you can have with Stephen or whatever agent you want to create without it forgetting anything of that conversation. So that is a massive context window. And for us who've been playing with large language models for the past couple of years, to see this on an open source model, to be able to get such a context window is completely insane, when everything was sort of stuck at 1,000, 2,000 context length not long ago. So we're super excited to get more involved in open source technology and more involved in making that more accessible to users of Riku and everybody who is wanting to play with this. So stay tuned. There is a lot fun stuff coming. We've been working on hard behind the scenes, and we're slowly starting to roll that out now for everybody to play with. If you want to enjoy or play with this model, you can do so now by going to Riku.ai, and once you sign in, you'll be able to create unlimited chat agents and be able to then decide to keep them public or share them with your audience. And